Going, Hutch, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, appreciate it. Congrats, Heston. And also, I just wonder what have the last 15 hours or so been like for you? Has it kind of set in yet on you being the number 2 overall pick?
It's definitely been really crazy. Just all of a sudden it happens. All the moments from the Orioles calling me to getting drafted. So, it's definitely a dream come true and pretty surreal. But I think it's starting to set in a little bit more today as I woke up and everything. And it's something I'll never forget for sure.
And what have you been able to talk to the Orioles about what the next few days are going to look like for you? Are you going to be able to go out to Baltimore for a physical? And I guess there may not be a minor league season this year. So what's the immediate future look like for you?
As of right now, I'm not even sure yet. I talked to a few of their scouts yesterday, but they just congratulated me. They're like, glad you're an Oriole and stuff like that. And then also I talked to Mike Ellis, the GM of the Royals, after they drafted me, and he is the same thing, congratulated me, welcomed me in to being an Oriole and all that. And he said, we're going to focus up finishing up the rest of the draft today and tomorrow, and then once that's done, we'll be in touch with you and we'll give you a plan of what's going forward. So, hopefully tomorrow maybe they'll give me a call and I'll know a little bit more on what lies ahead.
Appreciate it, Heston.
Alyssa? Sorry, Alyssa. Go ahead.
You're good. Hey, Heston, congratulations. Hope you got some sleep last night, but got a lot of love from a lot of your teammates and former teammates and head coach. What was it like to see the outpour of support on social media?
Oh, it's unreal. I'm still trying to go through quite a bit of it. I probably haven't even seen half of it, and just trying to get back to everyone and say thank you and everything. It's really cool to be a part of teams at Arkansas where all the guys keep up with you, and be a part of also the fan base there where everybody's rooting for you and they're happy to see you accomplish something. And also all the guys that I've been there, played with, this wouldn't have happened without them, and they also helped me get to the level where I'm at.
A lot of the analysts and scouts talked about your power hitting, your home run power that you have, but how you're able to really develop as a hitter. So as you head into your pro career, what are some things you want to continue to work on?
I want to try to get better at all parts of my game for sure, but I think the main thing going forward is my plate discipline and swinging at good pitches consistently, and that'll help me out the most.
And lastly, have you ever been to Baltimore and Inner Harbor and seen Camden Yards?
Nope, never been. I know where Maryland's at on the map. That's pretty much it. So, but probably go there eventually. So.
Well, what they say is true. The crab is really good up there. That's how you.
Okay, I'll have to try it out then.
Thanks, Heston.
Tom?
Okay. Hey, Heston. Thanks for doing another one of these. I'm writing something about the 2018 team next week, and I wanted to get your thoughts, the highlights, what's really stood out to you about that team, and did all the positive things and all the big wins outweigh the frustration at the very end?
Man, I think the thing was just the dog pile to go to Omaha in that game 3 in Fayetteville at the Super Regional. That was an unreal moment. That was what we'd planned for and trained for. And we showed up to Omaha and, made it to the finals. And that was unreal to be able to be in that stadium. And there's like 28,000 fans, and 25,000 of them were wearing Arkansas red and cheering us on. That was just a real experience. In my opinion, I think the season was still an amazing season and everything. And it didn't end the way we wanted to, but, looking back, it was still a great team, and we gave it our all, and we came up a little bit short, and it's something we'll always remember, and it was a great experience.
If the analysts are right, your teammate Casey Martin will be chosen here pretty soon when the next round gets going, and then Casey Opich as well. Have you been in contact with them, and what do you think about those guys and their futures too?
They actually texted me yesterday after I got drafted, and they wanting to congratulate me and everything. And I'm going to be watching the draft again today to see when they go off the board, so I can watch their moment and everything. They got great careers ahead of them. They're great guys, and everybody already knows they're great players. And I think whatever team drafts them is going to get a great player to help their organization.
All right, and one last thing on 2018 World Series. You knock off 2 Texas teams, including Arkansas's kind of arch rival Texas, and then you beat the defending champion Florida. Those 3 games, how special was that little streak you had there?
Man, that was unreal to come into Omaha and do damage like that. While I was in that moment and we were there, I really didn't realize the feat of everything we'd done and how hard it really was to accomplish it. And then looking back, you kind of understand it better of like, wow, like that was an impressive team, and the way we went in there and clinched our path to the finals was really awesome. And everybody on the team was just clicking and everything, and it was all working.
Thanks, Heston.
Phil, you have anything? You're muted.
I don't know how this thing is working. I got in a little bit late. Have you heard from Blaine Knight yet, Heston?
Yep. No, he actually he called me yesterday before the draft. And he was just touching base. I hadn't talked to him in a while, and he just wanted to wish me luck. He said, "Enjoy it, man. It's going to be an amazing time for you." And he's like, "I hope the best wherever you go." And he didn't even say anything about being an Oriole or any of that. But then he called me probably 15 minutes after I got picked, and he was pumped that I was going to be headed to the Orioles so we could be teammates again. And I'm pumped too. Me and Blaine were always good friends and always got along well. And he's a good guy, and also it'll be nice going into a system like that. Knowing Blaine, he'll probably take me under his wing again for a little bit, which will be nice.
So I look back, you faced 4 pitchers that were drafted yesterday during your career at Arkansas, which says a lot about what the competition in college, specifically in the SEC, does for young players in how you either showcase yourself or how you get better than what you faced in high school, or even what you might have faced in the minor leagues. So you faced Hancock, Crochet, Burns, and Cavalli. When you face this kind of talent week in, week out, how does that help you prepare for what you're going to face at the next level?
I think it's huge, the level of competition that we're able to play conference. I think it's the best ever. And yeah, there was 4 guys that I'd faced drafted yesterday, but there was a handful in the draft before and then the draft before that. And it seems like almost every Friday night you're facing a future first rounder, and they're coming at you with your best stuff. And even guys throwing on Saturday or Sunday are going to come off the board at some time, and everyone's super talented. And to be able to face that level of pitching starting out freshman year for 3 years really helps all of us elevate our games quickly, because you got to be able to adapt and figure out how to have success off of pitching like that.
That's all I got. Congratulations, Heston. Proud of you.
Thanks, Phil.
Matt Jones.
Hey, thanks, Kyle. Hey, Heston, wanted to ask you about when you were recruited by Arkansas. I think you were, something like 5'10" and 160 pounds when you committed. How much, obviously you grew physically, but in what ways do you think you grew as a player, and how much different did you become as a player than what they recruited you as?
Man, I think I changed a lot just because I wasn't done growing or maturing. And Van Horn actually told me when he originally recruited me, he probably saw me as a leadoff hitter, some average, maybe a little power, whatever. But then, I grew, put on some weight, ended up 6'3", 200 pounds, and, definitely grew as my bat, the power came and everything, and then settled into the corner outfield, and then moved over to the right as my arm got a little bit stronger. And I say going to Arkansas, all parts of my game really improved, just because when you get there, there's a lot of competition, and it brings out the best in everyone when you have competition like that, and it makes you want to get better every day. And every day you'd go in there and the coaches would be doing anything and everything to help you try to reach a new level.
Was Tony Vitello your lead recruiter?
Yes, he saw me for like 5 or 6 games in Dallas, and then he reached out to me and said they're interested. And then after that, I actually went on a unofficial visit. And then after that, Van Horn, he didn't offer me when I was on my unofficial. He said he wanted to come out and watch me a little bit, and then after that, he offered me. But Vitello was the first guy that saw me.
I wanted to ask you too about your time in the Connie Mack League and how much you felt like maybe you grew up playing that summer.
Man, being able to play in the Connie Mack is really cool. The Farmington's a great community, and we actually got to play a few games in front of like 3,000 fans, which was like crazy coming from high school. You never played in front of that many, so it kind of gave you a little bit glimpse of maybe what college will be like and playing in front of fans. And then obviously going to Fayetteville, there's nothing else like it when there's 10,000 fans in Baum Stadium.
And then the last question I had for you, Heston, you had a rough start to your sophomore year. I think the first 7 or 8 games you weren't hitting very well. And Taylor Smart said he saw something in your leg kick. You worked on it, and it seemed like from that point on, whether it was with Team USA or fall ball or the preseason, you never really slowed down. Can you kind of take me back to that point and that work that you and Taylor did and Nate did together, and how much do you credit to that getting to where you are now?
Yeah, I think it was a good point in my career looking back. There was definitely a learning curve there, and I really don't think it was too much mechanics. I felt like they're there, and also at the point I was hitting the ball hard. Some of it weren't falling and stuff like that, but also I just went back to the board, and I was probably trying a little bit too hard to be a better player than I was the year before and everything like that. So I just went back to square one and started going out on the field to have a lot of fun. And I was just gonna play baseball like I knew how to play and just be myself out there. And once I could be myself out on the field, that's when I'm at my best.
Yep, thank you.
Nate Allen.
Heston, as far as just your little time you had at first base, how much do you think that'll help you, add into your versatility?
Yeah, I think it'll help a little bit maybe going forward if the Orioles want to move me around the field to play a little first along with my outfield. Whatever it is, we'll just see what happens. But I'm pretty sure from talking to them they want to keep me in the corner outfield.
Thanks.
Zach Martin in Amarillo.
Hey, Heston, how's it going today? First question is just going to be, we're doing kind of an origin story with you, and I just kind of want you to talk about kind of growing up in Amarillo, playing baseball for Randall. What was that time in your life like?
Oh, it was a lot of fun, especially, playing at Randall. There was a group of 10 of us that had played baseball together since like 7th, 8th grade. So we're all best friends, and we're able to play through high school together and all that. So, the whole time it was a blast for me and everything with all those guys.
So about those guys, have they been able to reach out to you since you've been drafted, and just kind of what are some of the words they've been able to tell you?
Yeah, no, a lot of them were my good friends. So they were actually at my house last night, so they got to be there with me while I got drafted, which was really cool. And there's obviously been a lot of my friends that reached out and congratulated me and everything like that. It's always good to hear back from some of your old friends and everything like that.
How old were you when you first started thinking there's a chance that I could end up going D1 one day and then maybe eventually the pros? When did that first kind of kick into your head?
Man, I've probably been dreaming about it ever since I was a kid. But once I started getting attention from D1 schools, that's when I knew it was more realistic and less of a dream. That probably would have been about the time I was like freshman, sophomore in high school.
Zach, did you have
Okay,
anything
that's all we needed. Thank you.
else? Pete, did you have anything?
Yeah, Heston, silly question, but what's the difference between being drafted in the 36th round and then being drafted number 2 overall?
Oh shoot, man, it's definitely totally different. You know, the 36th round, it really wasn't. It was just kind of an honorary thing because they wanted to tie their name to me, and being the second overall pick. That was something I dreamed about as a kid, and it takes a lot of things to go right to end up in that spot, and it's surreal. It's really hard for me to explain all the emotions and everything that overtake you in that moment, but it's definitely the greatest emotions I've ever had in my life.
When you got drafted by the Mariners in 2017, what were you up to?
I was with my parents. We were driving to Houston for a tournament because I knew I was already going to college, and that's what I told everyone. And I was going to play summer ball to get some at bats. So we're just on the road driving, and then they called me or whatever.
All right, man. Appreciate it. Congrats.
Thank you.
Kyle Deckelbaum, do you have anything?
Yeah, Heston, the money. How does a college kid from Amarillo, Texas, wrap his mind around the ballpark of $8 million?
Yeah, it's definitely a life-changing amount, but luckily I grew up in my parents' family business and I worked in it all the time, and they taught me the value of a dollar, and I understand really hard to come across something like that. So you got to be smart, and also just I'm probably just gonna save most of it for a rainy day because I don't need too much in life to be happy.
No big
honestly.
ideas for a big first purchase or anything?
Not right now. I'm really not eyeing anything. I'm just trying to go play baseball again soon, honestly.
I was just going to ask you about that because you had the shortened season. All signs point to there being no minor league season. What do you think about possibly not playing any games for what could be more than a full year?
Man, that would definitely be weird for all of us, which hopefully that won't be the case. But if it is, we'll make it work somehow. Maybe get certain pitchers or maybe scrimmages amongst the organizations at the spring training. But it definitely will. I think it will be tough for the game if there's no baseball for this next year, just from a fan level and also for a player standpoint. Getting out there playing every day is the best way to get better and improve.
Thanks, Heston. Congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Hutch, did you have anything else?
Yeah, I actually just thought of something. Heston, usually when the draft happens, spring training's long gone, in March and everything. But with the possibility of the baseball season starting up eventually, spring training possibly, do you think you might get to go to spring training with the Orioles? Is that something you'd want to do, or have you talked to them about that?
Man, I have no clue if that's in the works or whatever. Whatever they call me and whatever they want me to do, whether it's working out at their spring training facility or coming in practice, whatever it is, they're my boss now, and whatever they want me to do, that's what I'll do. it's a job now. So whatever they say goes, and I'm just their worker.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, Heston.
Thank you.
Tom?
Yeah, Heston, if you don't mind, you referenced your dad last night. So what are your parents' first names? And also, the fact that you worked in the water store with them and all, how did that help you become maybe a self-starter, motivated type person?
My parents, Dave and Jody, I'll spell it just D-A-V-E, and then my mom's is J-O-D-Y. And, just being in that family business, like ever since I was 5, I was trying to do stuff to help them out. And, I always saw my parents, they work 7 days a week because that's what they had to do with a small business. They got up every day, went to work, came home. So that's what I grew up around. When I was a little kid, I didn't think of anything else. I thought every day you got up, you went to work, and then you just lived it on repeat for a while. And my dad always worked hard, and luckily my parents, that as I got older and their business got older and they were growing their business, they were improving it and everything got better, and they started slowly expanding it and everything. So I saw that they started from nothing and they were able to work so hard for 30 plus years, and now they've earned something that's super amazing, and they worked for it. So that taught me as a kid, if I want to do something great, I gotta start from the bottom, and I need to work as hard as I can. And if I do that, maybe I'll be able to claw my way to the top.
They go to work today?
Oh yeah, they were working yesterday. They took like a half day yesterday. They worked in the morning, and then they got ready for the draft, and they're at work right now. And they'll be back maybe later. They said they may try to knock off a little early today so we can hang out a little bit more.
Extend the celebration a little longer, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Heston. That's it for me, Kyle.
Thanks, Tom. Matt Jones, did you have any more?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Nate?
No, I'm fine.
Okay. I'm going to unmute everybody, and if you've got one, let me know.
I just have one more, Kyle, just for fun.
I got one more too, Kyle. And again, just for fun.
Hope I don't steal Phil's. Hey, Heston.
Melissa, go ahead.
Hey, Heston, your dog Oreo got a lot of love last night on national TV and kind of went viral with his reaction after your announcement. How's your dog doing today?
I think she's a little worn out from all the people being over at the house, and I think she was pumped up too with all the people being there, and I think it was just everyone's reaction being super loud. She kind of freaked out or whatever, but that was cool, and that was one thing my family and I had talked about. We were like, I was sitting on the couch like one day or whatever when we were setting up the cameras, and my mom was like, "Are you gonna let her do that when you're getting drafted?" And then we're like, "Shoot, like I don't see why not. Like whatever, let's go for it."
Are you going to be sad to leave her behind when you have to leave home? Because you've kind of gotten comfortable over the past couple months with having her around, or do you get to take her with you?
My parents aren't going to let me take her with me. And being a minor league baseball player, it's really tough to support a dog because you're on the road so much and you leave whenever, whatever. But I'll definitely FaceTime my mom quite a bit just so I can see Oreo and then maybe say hi to my mom or whatever.
Thanks, Heston.
Phil?
Heston, I'm sorry to do this to you. This is my favorite picture in all the time that I've been doing Arkansas baseball. Right here. Right?
No, that's awesome. I like that one too.
I want to know what led to this. And when did you figure, who asked you, and when did you figure you'd put the hands on Connor's shoulder? Because that's really what makes the picture and gives it the Step Brothers feel.
Yeah, so Connor and I have we've been best buds ever since he got there. We always hang out together, whatever. And, even since this whole thing, we keep in touch, or when I'm back in Fayetteville, I always hang out with him. It was picture day or whatever. And Connor was like, he's like, dude, we're pretty much like stepbrothers. And I was like, no, we're not. Like, I was like, no, we're not. Like, whatever. He's like, dude, we got to do that picture though. Like, even though we're not, like, we got to do that picture. And I was like, okay, man, whatever. And then the photographer, we're gonna do it, and he was like, all right, like, if y'all are gonna do this, like, we're gonna make this absolutely perfect. Like, everything's gonna be to a T. And we're like, okay, whatever. Like, tell us what to do. So it took like 5 minutes, but it was totally worth it to get that one snapshot.
I mean, did we just become best friends? It's perfect, man. It was so well done.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all I got, man.
All right, Heston, thank you for your time. Appreciate you, man. We're happy for you. We're
No
proud
problem.
of you. Good luck, all right?
Thank you. Y'all take care.